Hi, so my other video actually cut off on me, but it was right whenever I began talking about the interview with the middle school student over the school safety issues. When I interviewed the middle school student, it was a lot different than the interview with the high school student and the middle school teacher. I interviewed an 8th grade boy, and he was very concise and quick to answer his questions with not a lot of depth or detail, which is fine, but he did answer my questions and gave me some good insight on how a 8th grade middle schooler feels about school safety. So in the interview with him, I asked him the same questions that I asked the high school student. The first one was, do you feel safe at school? And he said yes, because we have cops everywhere and a big gate out front. When asked about the big gate, he said that it's just a big gate out front that is locked during the school day, that's opened when parents need to come in to pick up their students or whenever the school buses leave. He said that he feels safe at school and he doesn't ever feel threatened. Whenever I asked him if he was aware of the number of school shootings since the Sandy Hook shooting, he responded no, but I still feel safe at school because I know that God will protect me. When I asked him if he knew of students who participate in violent activities inside or outside of school, he said no, but that there are bullies in my school who pick on other kids. So even though he doesn't get picked on, he knows that there are other students who get picked on, which leads to violence, whether that's a kid who's being bullied or the bully who is committing the violence in the first place. When I asked him if his parents had guns in the home, he said that yes, he knows where they're at, and he and his dad will shoot guns every once in a while. And so after I asked him that, I asked him if he has ever felt like he should use the gun besides times that he uses it with permission from his dad, and he said no, that he would never use it without permission, and that he said, the direct quote that he said was no, because the gun isn't just sitting there telling me to shoot some kids, it's just a gun. So this 8th grade student has the knowledge to know that the gun can hurt people, but that it's also a gun, and that a gun cannot hurt people unless somebody's using it, is basically what he was saying. So whenever I asked him if he ever thought about using it, he said no, because he knew he would get in trouble. So I also asked him about media, if he thought that media affects students, and he said yes, but he also plays violent video games, and he also watches some violent movies, and he also does not feel the effect of wanting to go out and hurt people through violent acts because of those things. So basically the answers from the middle school student supported some of the information that I found. However, the student did express that he did not ever really feel unsafe at school, but there were bullies at the school that did bully other people, and that he also stated that he has never had the desire to use a parent's gun unless a parent was around. And this contradicts with the idea cited earlier that easy access gives students prompts to act out in violent behaviors. Likewise, with the high school student interview, he agreed with that. Lastly, I had an interview with a middle school teacher, and the interview with the middle school teacher was very informative, and while interviewing the teacher, the questions I asked were more in-depth than with the high school and middle school student. The first question I asked is the same one that says, do you feel safe at school? And she responded, yes, because there are existing procedures and discipline measures in place. And then I also asked, is your school affiliated with any nationally known safety organizations? She answered, not that I know of, but we do go through a safety training with the local police every year. When asked if she was aware of the many shootings that have occurred throughout the United States since Sandy Hook, she said that, my goodness, no, I had no idea there were that many. And when I asked her if the numbers scared her, she said, yes, that is very scary, but you cannot go to school thinking about that every day. You have to go in with a positive attitude and ready to learn. And so in this teacher's mind, safety was very important, but not harping on the issue and not being paranoid about the issue was very important. I asked her if she thought about if there were any policies in her school in which she felt needed to be added to the school procedures to ensure the safety of the students, and the teacher replied, I feel like my school is very safe. I think they have I think they have all the procedures covered. And then to conclude, I asked her if she thinks that the media affects the nature of students, especially violence. And she said that yes, absolutely. When children or teenagers see the violent acts and even participate in them through games, their minds begin to be formed by the negativity of the violence. I believe that children are more drawn to violent acts when they are exposed to it often. So after these interviews, it gave me more personal insight on what teachers students in high school and students in middle school feel about school safety. The findings and results of this case study were, I feel like they were very conclusive. The first guided research question was, why is school safety such a prevalent issue in today's schools? I found that school safety is a prevalent issue because of the easily accessible resources such as guns, media, video games, and toxic environments that are so common for students. And although the interviews with the students both resulted in the students not ever wanting to use the guns without parent permission, I took into the effect that I interviewed 2 students from a middle class home with a mom and a dad in the home, not with a teenage parent, not with not with a broken home or divorced parents or a lower class family. I interviewed 2 middle class students with 2 parents, and so if I were to interview another student interviewing another student who might be in a lower class single home parent or lower class 2-parent home, the results might be different. So I not only gathered information through scholarly articles, but also through authentic questioning of the middle school teacher, the middle schooler, and the high schooler. The interviews provided reliable answers to me, and they were compared to the results. And so in all, I found out that in school safety issues flat out come down to the fact of easy access to guns and other weapons, media violence, and environments, whether the environments are community, family, school, or peer environments. They all affect somebody, the students. The second guided research question was, what can parents, teachers, and administrators do in order to ensure the safety of students? So I concluded that in order for safety procedures to improve, educators and administrators need to be willing to make changes for the betterment of the students. That being said, that's joining national programs to help improve the safety of the students, making committees within the school to help improve the safety of students, practicing drills more often, using those drills as serious measures, taking them seriously, have meetings with the teachers and administrators and talk to them about what they can do to better make the school safe. The second question, or part of that question, was, what can parents do? Parents can just need to be active member in the lives of their children. They need to question their children when they come home. They need to be cautious in regards to school procedures. They need to question the schools. They need to make sure that these are implemented, that safety features are implemented in the schools. Basically, the meaning and relevance behind this study was to provide truthful information regarding the issue of school safety and the actions that administrators, teachers, and parents can take to ensure the safety of children while in school. I hope that you have learned something about school safety from this presentation, and thanks for watching.